modern world, we're practically in the modern world. We have to know how to use a computer and technology and that fancy stuff, because if you get a good job, you'll get a good house. We can have active learning instead of learning the same old, same old.
We want to shift kids and families from passive receivers of what professional educators have designed for them to active participants in designing their learning environments. They move from passive to active.
The OECD have an innovative learning environment project, and they've identified 5 countries around the world, of which the Learning Change Network in New Zealand is one of those 5, that they see as being particularly innovative. What they particularly are attracted to about the Learning and Change Network project is the degree of community involvement and parental involvement in their child's learning that they see emerging, along with the emphasis on student agency, so that students are being encouraged to become more responsible for their learning.
Alex, what's your learning goal?
Know about simple angles.
So really what we're looking for is what is happening, where are kids learning, how do they learn, and that's the starting point.
We do know our families really well. We have really strong relationships with our families, and our focus is on the teams around our students and the information that we get, so that we're all working in the same way to engage our students more in their learning. I think those meetings that we have, questions are asked of families at those meetings, and they're based on the here and the now and with things that come up along the way with our students. And I think more than often we've missed the how do your children learn at home, and who do they learn best with?
I've been a reading recovery teacher, and reading recovery doesn't work for all children. I've worked with intervention groups, it doesn't work for all children. So we're looking at our target learners for a way to really find out what will work for those children.
I hope that from this model we can make connections with the other schools, and what might be a weakness at our school may be a strength at another school, and so we can make those connections and cross-pollinate what we're doing with other schools.
In our system, based on a self-managing model, that has only happened through goodwill of individuals in the past. There's nothing systemic around that, whereas now we're providing a systemic opportunity for schools collectively to head in the same professional direction.
Humans are interested on learning off each other laterally. They're not interested in waiting for a hierarchy to tell them what they need to know. They're interested in finding out across ways whoever can give them the information and whoever they're interested in working with a common interest or a friendship.
Our priority learners are being given more of a voice, I think, in the conversation. I think that's been particularly exciting.
Well, the lateral learning is something that the OECD have picked up on. Schools and networks are learning from each other. There was a classic example where Kaikoai had been to Manaiakalani and had witnessed what was happening in their schools, how they'd introduced their Chromebooks. There was an opportunity for Dorothy to come and share the Manaiakalani story, really.
With their writing teacher, they had a conversation about writing. They talked about the learning. It was quite different.
The things they seem to have observed from us that they were interested in was how we'd engaged our whānau, our parent community, how our learners were connecting laterally, and how our teachers were learning from each other.
I like the way you totally changed the ending of Jack and the Beanstalk.
We're trying to make the schoolwork more visible, to make the learning that happens in class more accessible to home, so that parents can have access to it at home and children can talk them through what they're learning and why, but actually have the real example there in front of them as well.
We're going to make some connections. Did anyone notice anything else that was the same at Dyer Street School? What did you notice, Jo, that was the same?
Because the kids were very excited to read about what was happening at Korakura School, we are going to write letters to the editor of the Petone Herald, expressing our excitement and interest at Korakura School and what they're doing, and sharing some of what we're doing and how that's helping our learning.
Dear editor, I thought that the article about Korakura School was awesome and my school is doing something similar.
We are using a lot more technology to share our work with family members and friends.
Last year we had to write in our books, but this year we get to do our writing online. As a result, we can collaborate, which helps us share our ideas.
So family and friends can compliment to help us get better.
You can email your teacher anytime, even midnight, but they probably won't reply until the morning though.